Beau Hart. In June of 2003, the man was God with a small G in our town. I mean, he was the second coming. Beau Hart broke a major league record held by the Hall of Famer Kirby Puckett by hitting .460 in his first 10 games. It was arguably the best debut in MLB history. He was out of baseball a year later and now works for an IT company in Memphis. But what a beginning it was. He still signs autographs at the winter warm-up. Joe McEwing. A strikingly similar story to Beau Hart, a middle infielder who blew up as a rookie. In 1998, Super Joe amassed a 25-game hitting streak. It was the 5th longest for a rookie in history, and McEwing kept it up that season with 141 hits. He would never be a full-time player again in the big leagues. One day, though, he may be a manager. Silvio Martinez. Before there was Carlos, there was Silvio. In his first major league start in 1978 at age 21, Silvio threw a one-hit complete game in Shea Stadium. That has only happened one other time in Major League history. He pitched another one-hitter against the Pirates that year. Plagued by injuries and illness, Silvio Martinez was out of baseball 3 years later. Kent Bottenfield. He spent 10 years in the big leagues. 9 of them were uneventful. But in 1999, Bottenfield was brilliant. He won 18 games and actually went to the All-Star game. Bottenfield won a combined 18 games in the next 4 years of his career. But because of that special season, it allowed the Cardinals to trade him for a fellow named Jim Edmonds. Thank you, Kent Bottenfield. Austin Davis. He quarterbacked for 6 teams in 6 years in the NFL, including our St. Louis Rams. In his first start in 2014, he beat Tampa. Then he came back and beat Seattle. He completed 17 of 20 passes in that game. It was the highest completion percentage against a defending Super Bowl champion ever. Brett Favre said at the time he could be the next Kurt Warner. He wasn't. The Rams released him a year and a half later. Davis coaches quarterbacks in Seattle now. The Battlehawks. They open up by drawing 29 and 27,000 at the Dome. The goal was 20,000. The town went berserk. The TV ratings blew away the ratings for the Stanley Cup champion Blues. It was Battlehawk mania. Then COVID-19 came, and Vince McMahon pulled the plug. Hopefully, they're not a flash in the pan and have a second act in our town. Brad Boyes spent 13 years in the NHL with 7 NHL teams. Don't get me wrong, he was a solid player. But for 2 glorious seasons with the Blues, he was one of the best snipers in the league. 43 and 33 goals in back-to-back seasons. After that, Boyes didn't score more than 14 goals in a year. Brad Boyes was lethal, but for a short stretch. Tony Hercus. It was the Hercus Circus on April 10th of 1998. Hercus scored 4 goals in a playoff game against the Chicago Blackhawks in a 6-5 victory. The 170-pounder became the first rookie to ever score 4 goals in a playoff game. He had never had a playoff goal before that outburst. Hercus never had a 20-goal season. Keep in mind, Brett or Bobby Hull never had a 4-goal playoff game. Anthony Reyes. A funny thing happened to Reyes on his way to superstardom. He never got there, but he did tease us. In his first start ever in Milwaukee in 2005, he threw a 2-hitter for 6 2/3 innings. A year later, he took a no-hitter into the 7th in Milwaukee. The 2006 World Series, he outdueled the great Justin Verlander and retired a rookie record 17 straight. Reyes was out of baseball 3 years later with 13 career wins. Finally, trunk candidate. In the 2000 NFL Draft, when the Rams needed defense, Mike Martz decided to go with this running back out of Arizona. Candidate, who ran a 4.25 40-yard dash, exploded in his first career start. 195 yards on 23 carries and 2 touchdowns against the Jets. But Marshall Faulk's backup scored just 5 more touchdowns in his NFL career and was out of the league 3 years later. Trunk candidate was a flash in the pan.